So good afternoon, everyone. Just before I say a couple of things about my presentation today, I must say that I'm not happy to speak at the very end of this conference because your bar of expectation is going very high now at this moment. But on the other hand, it goes without saying that I'm super happy and proud to be here, and thank you all for the invitation. And this is my first annual conference at the CSID, and I hope that we are going to see each other in the future. And before I go on with my presentation, I usually do that and say that I'm sorry because of my bad English, although I'm quite sure that we are going to understand each other. And of course, I'm no expert in the US foreign policy, but I think I do know, and I kind of feel it, that the Balkans isn't the US top priority. And I completely understand if some of you will say, then who cares? Who cares about this whole topic? But the thing is that I'm here the whole day, and as people were talking about the Middle East, I sensed that we are talking about the Balkans, because these two parts of the world are quite similar, and not in a good way, I think. So anyhow, Balkans is a soft belly of the EU, and the Balkans is a place where you have like different political interests for years, and definitely US is still a key player in there. But what I will argue here today is that the whole political processes, political instabilities, political stabilities, ideas, cultures, and so on, what is going on in the Middle East is actually going towards the Balkans. And I don't know that we are all the people or the countries in the Balkans are capable of politically dealing with all that challenges. When my whole idea about this presentation today comes actually from the year 2008. Because in 2008, I was given a visit from an officer from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Czech Republic in Serbia. And he gave me his card, and he was of course interested in talking about the Serbian Orthodox Church and so on. And he gave me his card, and on the card it says Ministry of the Foreign Affairs, Office for the Middle East. And then I asked him, but why you are here in Serbia? And he said to me that the Serbia is only one chain in that part of a chain which they call the Middle East, meaning that these two parts of the world are a function as a sort of the communication vessels. Yeah. So what is going on in the Middle East can influence what is going on in the Balkans. So I know that you guys, Americans, are not good with the geography. That is only a stereotype. I'm just kidding. So this is actually an interesting map coming from New Zealand, because if you see like just the usual maps, New Zealand is all the way in the corner. So the people in New Zealand have their own map, and you see that New Zealand is here, and it says that they have the best fishing in the world, the best beaches in the world, and so on and so on. And the other part of the world is super small and with a lot of stereotypes. And of course, this is the part of the Balkans and the Middle East where they say it is a disaster area. And I think it is a big challenge for the political elites in the Balkans, but that isn't anything new, I think. Because now I will give you, not that one, go back. So yeah, this is Ivo Andrić. Ivo Andrić is the only Serbian who was given a Nobel Prize in literature in 1961. So this is a part of a novel from the early 40s, where he is trying to explain a night in Sarajevo. And he says, whoever lies, I know it is long, but I think it is important. Whoever lies awake at night in Sarajevo hears the voices of the Sarajevo night. The clock on the Catholic Cathedral strikes the hour with weighty confidence, 2 a.m. More than a minute passes, to be exact, 75 seconds I counted. And only then with a rather weaker but piercing sound does the Orthodox Church announce the hour and chime its own 2 a.m. A moment after, in the tower clock of the Bay Mosques strikes the hour in a hoarse, faraway voice, and it strikes 11, the ghostly Turkish hour, by the strange calculation of distant and alien parts of the world. The Jews have no clock to sound their hour, so God alone knows what time it is for them by the Sephardic reckoning or the Ashkenazis. And the conclusion is that while everyone is sleeping, division keeps vigil in the counting of the late small hours, and it separates these sleeping people who awake, rejoice and mourn, feast and fast by 4 different and antagonistic calendars, and send all their prayers and wishes to one heaven in 4 different ecclesiastical languages. And this difference, sometimes visible and open, sometimes invisible and hidden, is always similar to hatred, and often completely identical with it. This is the most important challenge when we are talking about the politics in the Balkans, that our political elites, political parties, civil societies, as well as all foreign influences have no answer to it. And I think that the influence which is coming from the Middle East into the Balkans is not actually like weakening all these things. They are giving it specific strengths. So I know we have a keynote address after that, so I will just give you 2 case studies. We have people from Turkey in here, and obviously, like Balkans was a part of the Ottoman Empire, and back in 2012, I was in Istanbul at a conference on the 100 years after the Balkan Wars, which was the end of the Ottoman Empire in the Balkans. And interestingly, that conference was organized by AKP and Erdogan. Yeah, but he was a whole different dude, I think. Back in 2000. Huh? Yeah. So, but the whole idea of the conference was that the Balkans is a part of Turkey, not in like a political senses, but in a cultural, identical, and so on. So, and Turkey is definitely the #1 address in the Muslim world for the Balkan Muslims. But the thing is that the whole influence of Turkey in the Balkans is come as a prize for not being a part of the EU. You will find the whole, I don't think you will find any scholars in the Balkans, or maybe in Turkey, that the foreign powers allowed Turkey to exert its own soft power into the Balkans as a prize, or as a consolation prize for not being a part of the EU. Of course, as I think that many of you will know, that Turkish influence in the Balkans is a part of the neo-Osmanism and the whole doctrine of the strategic depth of Ahmet Davutoglu. However, I had interesting interviews with scholars from Turkey, asking them if the Turkish policies towards the Balkans would change if Erdogan loses the elections, and they said no. And they say no. So it means that that change is about to happen, but it isn't going to be a fast change. Another way how the foreign powers influencing the Middle East and then influencing the Balkans was ISIS. The highest number of foreign fighters from Europe to ISIS, as per a million of population, were coming from the Balkans. And of course that was a political challenge, but as we speak, it is also a challenge of security, because a lot of those people, came back to Serbia or to the Balkans. Anyhow, I don't have any specific conclusions. This is just me thinking out aloud that the Balkans and the Middle East, that the Balkans and the Middle East are actually like mirroring each other, and that I think that the US influence in the Middle East on trying to implement democratization in the Middle Eastern countries will definitely affect the Balkans. However, it isn't only about the Middle East. A political stability and political future of the Balkans is based on the successful democratization processes in Istanbul, in Cairo, in Riyadh, but most importantly in Moscow, because there is an enormous influence, because Balkans is still that part of the Europe where Putin has some sort of a power, and he has that big influence in there. So I don't want you to think that the Balkans isn't a good place to be. You can always come to Belgrade. We have excellent food, and the booze is quite cheap. Thank you.